Hello, I'm Martha Stewart. I've written several cookbooks. Two of my favorites are Entertaining and Quick Cook. Today, I'd like to talk with you about the Aga Cook Stove. It's really the Rolls-Royce of cooking stoves, and it's so incredibly versatile that it works in perfectly with these two very different, almost opposite styles of cooking. Many of us in cooking have known about Agas for years. In fact, I fell in love with an old-fashioned coal-burning Aga, and it's installed in my barn kitchen. Agas have just now become available in the United States and Canada. This is my new Aga, and I'm going to use it to prepare an al fresco meal for a pool party this evening. The Aga is such a good friend and helper in the kitchen that in the space of a single day, and a very relaxed one at that, I can cook more than enough food for 30 guests. Some of the things we are going to be preparing for the buffet are roast stuffed turkey, New England baked beans, a standing rib roast, sour cherry clafoutis, and even a steamed chocolate pudding. Sound like a lot and a lot of work? You'll be surprised how quick and easy it is with the Aga. As you can see, it's not one of the latest in high-tech labor-saving devices. In fact, it may be one of the earliest, with roots that go back to the Industrial Revolution. But its classic good looks and handcrafted construction make it fit in with any kitchen decor. I'm just going out to the garden to gather a few ingredients, and then we'll start. In the meantime, here's a little background on this unique and wonderful appliance.
Our story begins in 1709, when an enterprising English Quaker, Abraham Darby, started producing cast iron pots here at what would become the Colebrookdale Foundry. Over the years, the foundry was so consistent an innovator that this little town in the British Midlands has been called the cradle of the Industrial Revolution. This is the world's first iron bridge, cast and built here to connect the two halves of the foundry across the River Severn. Inventions in iron production, steam-driven pumps, locomotives and ships were paralleled by work in the decorative arts. These gates, which now separate Hyde Park from Kensington Gardens, were originally part of Colebrookdale's exhibit at the Great Crystal Palace exhibition of 1851. By the year 1800, the making of fine heating and cooking stoves had become a specialty, and this tradition is carried on today in the outstanding craftsmanship of the Aga stove. The Aga, designed by a Swedish Nobel laureate, was an outgrowth of his observation that his wife had to spend a good deal of her time watching and tending to food as it cooked. He resolved to design a stove that would perform all cooking operations in a superior manner simultaneously and virtually on its own. The result is the Aga. Adapting the time-honored principle of heat storage, a small efficient heat source, two generous ovens, and two large hot plates were combined into one robust unit. Later, two ovens were added to form the larger model. From the source, heat is channeled and stored for steady temperature and ever-ready access. The heat travels most directly to the roasting oven, where the high temperature is ideal for sealing in precious juices, then to the baking oven, where a constant moisture-controlled heat is maintained for perfect, carefree baking. Next, the simmering oven, which is for slow, even overnight cooking with gradual moist heat. And finally, the warming oven is ideal for keeping foods at that just cooked texture and flavor for hours. On top, the boiling plate is big enough for 3 saucepans. It heats with amazing speed that must truly be seen to be believed. Next to it, the simmering plate for slower, gentler cooking. It will help you to coax delicate sauces and gravies to a perfect conclusion. On the top left is a generous warming plate. Finally, the insulating lids of beautifully polished chrome keep your Aga stovetop ready for instant use.
One of the nice things about the Aga is that it's not just a special event cooking range. I just realized that in the middle of starting this small feast for tonight, I've got some hungry house guests who will be looking for their breakfast pretty soon. But no problem, not with the Aga. I'm going to show you how easy it is to cook breakfast for a crowd on an Aga. This is the fry pan, and we're going to fry the bacon first in the bottom of the roasting oven. The oven is about 475 degrees, and the bacon cooks crispy and brown in no time at all, with no splattering, no sputtering, and no smells throughout the house. We've been heating the grill pan, and this is the Aga grill pan with that nice ribbed bottom, on top of the boiling plate. And we're going to cook the steaks, my guest's favorite for breakfast, right in that white hot grill pan. This sears the steaks and gets them beautifully marked. Hear that? A couple minutes on each side and they're done. Under this dome, and this is covering the simmering plate, I'm toasting the bread for the fried eggs. And I'm going to put the toasted bread right here. Now this is an English way of cooking, and I think it's an awfully nice presentation. And you fry the eggs right in the bottom of the oven with the bacon. I think the steaks are done. Andy loves the steaks rare, and I'm going to keep them warm right here in the simmering oven. They don't overcook in this oven, they just keep warm and all the juices retained. To make toast, there's another wonderful device. This is the Aga toaster. And you put it right here on the boiling plate, close the dome to preheat that toaster. While that's preheating, I'll cook a few of my famous red pepper pancakes. And there's no need to heat up a separate pan or a separate griddle just for the pancakes. These griddles are always hot under the domes at the perfect temperature. And here's a hearty breakfast for those hungry guests in almost no time at all. Well, let's see what else is in the oven. This 25-pound turkey has been roasting for 4 hours and is now perfectly cooked and juicy, but crisp and browned on the outside, and the stuffing has retained all its texture. Meanwhile, in the baking oven, the biscuits for the strawberry shortcake are about ready. And so is the vegetable tian, and my special rough country terrine. And in the plate warming oven, we have these trays of meringue shells, dry and ready to fill with berries and cream, so very delicious. And in the simmering oven, two things have been cooking away all night, beautifully and slowly. One is my special favorite, Boston baked beans. The other is this stock, first brought to a boil on the fast plate and left in the simmering oven overnight to develop this wonderful, rich color and flavor and texture. Can you believe that all of this came out of one stove? And while it was cooking, I was out weeding in the garden and relaxing. The even heat of the ovens is great for roasting, and the humidity control retains juices, nutrients, and flavors, keeping shrinkage to a minimum. This 7-rib roast is a perfect example of what I mean. As you can see, there's hardly any shrinkage. The juices are sealed inside, not lost through evaporation. Here, niece, could you put this on the buffet, please? Oh, looks fabulous. Oops, there. Oh, hi, Amanda. Oh, that looks beautiful. Just put it right there, okay? Everything looks just great. I have time now to go up and change. Take a look. Trolley car? Isn't that great? Train. Look at Roscoe. Roscoe's having a really good day.
Am I going against the flow of the crowd?
I hope you've seen enough to whet your appetite about the Aga Cooker. Now you know some of the reasons why the Aga is so unique and why it is the extraordinary cook stove. Agas are a way of life, and it's really true. Aga owners do dine best at home.